Dogs are some of the most loving, intelligent, and emotionally tuned-in animals you can have. So owning one really is something special. But for a dog named Rex, his whole world flipped upside down when his owner left him by the side of a quiet road and drove off, never to return. What happened after that, though, is so moving, it might just break your heart. Rex had been with his owner ever since he was a tiny pup. He was so little back then, his owner had to teach him everything, how to eat, drink, and where to go to the bathroom. He took Rex on his very first walk, watching proudly as the fluffy golden retriever pup bounded around the park, sniffing everything, chasing a few dogs, and wagging his tail at anyone who passed by. As Rex got older, his owner always brought him new toys and tasty treats. They'd spend hours playing in the yard, then crash together on the couch, drifting off to sleep with the TV softly playing in the background. So when his owner called him into the car one day, Rex didn't think twice. He figured they were off on another adventure. Maybe the park, maybe somewhere new. Whatever it was, it sounded fun. They drove for hours, and Rex sat by the window, happily watching the world go by. New sights, smells, and sounds filled the car, and Rex soaked it all in. Finally, they turned into a quiet, empty street. His owner leaned over and clipped a leash to his collar. Rex got excited. Walk time. He leaned over to lick his owner's face, but was unexpectedly pushed away. That felt strange, but Rex tried not to think too much of it. The owner got out and opened the passenger door. Rex jumped down, tail wagging, ready to explore. But instead of walking to a park, they only went a few steps to a streetlight pole. His owner tied the leash tightly around it, leaving Rex standing there. Then, without saying a word, or even looking back, he walked calmly to the car, got in, and drove away. At first, Rex was just puzzled. Maybe this was a new kind of game. Maybe his owner was coming right back with a ball or a snack. So he waited, tail swaying with hope. 10 minutes passed, then an hour, then 2. By the 3rd hour, the wagging stopped. That happy spark in his eyes dimmed. Rex began to realize he might not be going home. He whimpered softly, scanning the street. A few people walked by, but didn't stop. Some cars drove past without even slowing down. Nobody seemed to notice the quiet dog tied to the pole. And Rex, who was never good at being alone, felt smaller and more lost with every minute. Rex had always been a friendly dog who loved being around people. But as the hours dragged on, a painful thought started to settle in. Maybe people didn't want to be around him. Feeling rejected and worn out, he lay down on the ground, head resting between his paws. Then, out of the corner of his eye, Rex noticed someone coming. It was a teenage girl walking down the sidewalk, earbuds in, music playing. But it was clear she saw him too. She glanced at Rex as she passed, then looked away, choosing to keep her distance just in case he was dangerous. Rex let out a quiet whine and lowered his head again, thinking maybe he'd never find someone to care for him. But then something changed. The girl stopped in her tracks. Slowly, she turned around and looked back at him. She pulled her headphones out and cautiously walked toward him. Rex stayed still, watching her with quiet hope. Reaching out with a nervous hand, she gently stroked the top of his head. As her hand moved slowly along his back, something inside Rex lit up. His tail, which had been still for hours, began to wag again. Once she realized he wasn't aggressive, just sad and scared, the girl looked around for his owner, but the street was empty. She waited, giving it a full hour, hoping someone might show up. No one did. As the sun started to dip and the air cooled, she knew she couldn't just leave him there. She tried to untie his leash, but the knot was too tight and her fingers couldn't budge it. She didn't have anything sharp to cut it either. Thinking quickly, she grabbed her phone and called her best friend. If anyone would know how to help, it was her. She gave her the exact location and told her what to bring so they could help Rex get free. While they waited, the girl began taking pictures of Rex and the scene around them. She planned to report what had happened to the police. Leaving a dog like that wasn't just heartless, it was wrong. Even if they never found the person who did it, she wanted to make sure someone knew, and that Rex's story didn't go unheard. Within 10 minutes, her friend pulled up and rushed over with a big smile and open arms. She immediately knelt beside Rex, giving him warm hugs and scratches behind the ears. Rex loved the attention. His tail thumped the ground nonstop. She had brought a soft blanket to keep him warm, a bowl of clean water, and a big can of food. Rex eagerly ate and drank, then curled up on the blanket, watching the girls work on the tight knot. After several minutes of tugging and twisting, the knot finally came loose. As soon as it slipped off the pole, Rex stood up and stretched, tail wagging with joy. He was free at last. The first girl figured Rex could use a little walk. She didn't know how long he'd been tied to that pole, but she could tell he needed to stretch his legs. And she was right. Rex happily trotted along beside her, tail wagging, sniffing everything in sight. They strolled up and down the quiet street until the sky started to darken. Then they headed back to the car to talk things through. The two friends weren't sure what to do next. Should they take him home? Let him go and hope he finds his way? Call a shelter and hand him over? But one look at Rex's gentle, grateful eyes gave them the answer. This dog wasn't just friendly. He was full of love. He still had so much to give. All he wanted in return was someone who would love him back. The girl smiled to herself. She would take Rex home. She'd always dreamed of having a pet, but never felt quite ready. She worried she might not be a good enough owner. But now, this felt different, like maybe it was meant to be, like fate had brought Rex into her life at just the right time. She knelt down and looked into his warm, panting face. Right then and there, she made a quiet promise. She'd never leave him. She'd never make him feel unloved or forgotten again. She would be the kind of person he could trust for the rest of his life. And that's exactly what she did. Rex went home with her that night, and the two of them shared a life filled with peace, comfort, and real happiness. He got the second chance he deserved, and gave back even more in return. Did this story touch your heart? What would you have done if you found a dog like Rex waiting by the side of the road? Would you stop to help or walk on by? I'd love to hear what you think, so drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more real-life stories like this one. Thanks for watching.
If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up and consider sharing it with someone who may find it interesting. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.